I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Hello, nurse! Nasu Aisuru is here.
Hi.
Hi, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Nasu Aisuru. I am a VTuber, a voice actress, and an ASM artist.
Yes, we're going to be talking about all of that stuff here in just a bit, and maybe a little singing too, a little bit later on. But I welcome you to the show and appreciate you coming on. When did you get started with VTubing?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to say almost 3 years ago, actually. My 3-year anniversary is coming up soon.
Whoa, so you're a veteran.
Kinda.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks I talked to that, oh, just a couple months ago, but you've been why did you get started in it?
Well, I'd always had an interest in streaming, even before I knew VTubers were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I joined, the VTubing scene when I was a big fan of HoloLive and, the big mainstream VTubers. And I literally just would watch them for hours. And it was so entertaining. And I just kind of sat there with myself one day and I was like, you know what? I want to do that.
Oh, so you kind of followed their lead and jumped into it, huh?
I did. I jumped right in.
Yeah. How was the transition to doing it?
Oh, it was a whole thing. I almost gave up twice.
Oh, so it was just a question of getting used to the surroundings, or did it just not hit right away?
Oh, it was an entire learning curve, really, of learning technological things I had never learned before, all of this terminology, and, going into social media platforms I have never experienced as well. It's just huge change of pace. But once I got the hang of it, and it took me a couple months to get used to it, I started figuring it out pretty quickly.
So is performing a thing for you? Have you done it in the past?
I have not, actually. It's
Really?
kind of brand new to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you weren't one that was jumping up on the stage and grabbing the microphone or anything like that.
Quite the opposite, actually. I'd like to think I'm very camera shy and stage fright kind of person.
So this has kind of allowed you to show a little different side of yourself.
Absolutely. It makes me feel a little bit safer to perform because I do have a love of doing it. I just hate all the eyes on me. So if I can't see them too much, it makes me feel a little better.
Well, it sounds like it's really made for you. It sounds like you settled right into it, and and now after 3 years, are you where you thought you might be after 3 years?
Honestly, I am farther than I thought I would be.
Well, so you weren't really expecting the success that you had right now yet, anyway.
Definitely not. I'm a full-time streamer now.
Mm-hmm.
I had come into this thinking that this would just be a hobby.
Yeah.
Of course, I had goals for success, but I definitely never expected for this to be my full-time job and for it to actually do enough for me to be able to make a living.
Yeah. Well, you got your nurse's degree first, and then you have to work on that, and then get into it. When did you decide to make it full time?
I actually didn't have much time to think it over. It was an unfortunate situation where I was kind of made to quit a job that I did full time, and VTubing was a part-time thing. It was a whole mess with a manager, bullying situation that I just, tossed my hands one day. I was like, all right, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I quit. And I was like, I'm going to take maybe a month or two full time and really put my everything into my channel and my VTubing career and see where it takes me. And it actually paid off pretty well. In fact, it benefited me more than the current job that I had. So I was like, I can do this full time.
Oh yeah, and you got the personality for it, and that's
Thank you.
And really, that's what brings people back is the personality. And you could play all sorts of games, but everybody else is playing games too. So it's bringing people back is the thing. And is that surprising to you, being someone who wasn't a stage person, that you've got people that are coming back to talk to you?
Oh yeah, that was a big shock to me is having people show up and be like, Nasu, I love the way that you perform. Nasu, I think you're funny. I love your voice. I love your personality. You're so outgoing. And I'm like, outgoing? Me? But I'm just being myself, just behind the screen. But it makes me feel a lot more confident knowing that people actually enjoy me for me.
Was it tough for you to interact with the chat at first?
Definitely at first it was a bit awkward. It felt like I was just kind of screaming into the void with not much answer, but every now and then I'd get people that would keep a whole conversation with me. And some of the earliest fans since my debut 3 years ago are still in my chat today. And it makes me so happy to see our relationship grow fonder.
That's really cool. And that the fact that the technology is there now for you to do this wouldn't have been available 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be still stuck at that job that you hate.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I can't say that. I can't say that you hated the job so much. Maybe just the people with it, because I don't know the exact situation. People get into those situations too. But with this now, you're your own boss. Has it been tough at times to keep motivated to keep going?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Procrastination and burnout are always on the table, and they're always a big factor in honestly any VTuber's career, but specifically for me, it's the procrastination. I don't have somebody else in my ear telling me, hey, you got to get this done. Remember to do this. Remember to do that. Mm-hmm. It's me, and I have to tell myself to do that. I have to build my schedules. I have to make appointments, schedule commissions and all that. And I think that's one of the toughest things I'm dealing with right now is trying to fight that almost laziness about it,
Mm-hmm. Well, when you get old, you just don't fight it; you just accept it.
Yeah,
and you go from there. But really, it is you are your own boss. You have to run it like a business in many instances because it is your business now.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be consistent. You have to keep a schedule. Maybe you have to do some things you don't necessarily want to do sometimes. What about meeting other people and working with them? Have you found that to be easy?
Meeting other people, it's always a gamble, at least for me, especially in the VTubing community. You never really know, which was surprising to me, who is actually playing a character and who's not, and if their kindness is a part of that character. So it's a bit of a toss-up. I would say that hesitation is definitely part of my everyday when it comes to approaching new people. It's kind of grown a little bit better. I've developed a thicker skin so that if I walk up to somebody, I'm like, hey, I'd like to hang out with you, and they tell me, oh, go away, I'll just brush it off and move on to the next one. But I've developed a good enough friendship circle that I'm pretty comfortable with, but socializing has never been my forte, behind the screen or in the screen, So
right.
Mean people are always going to be there, whether they're in your face or behind a camera.
Yeah, and I have to say, fortunately, most of them are cowards, so you don't have to face them down very long. But if you do face them down, has it carried over though that you're kind of spreading your wings on the internet? Has it carried over to your personal life any?
It actually really has. It's been showing in the choices I've been making for myself, my wardrobe, my wanting to go out and, smile at strangers and actually hold a little bit of conversation. Seeing like we have a similar keychain or something, I might start a conversation about that. I used to be so reclusive, but ever since becoming a VTuber, I'm capable of, being a bit more out there than I ever thought possible.
That's good. That's good that you not only have you blossomed there, but you're blossoming otherwise too. And,
yeah.
And I imagine wearing that nurse outfit out in the public probably has something to do with it. But
oh, it definitely gets me some looks.
It becomes more than cosplay at that point.
Absolutely.
Now, how did you get involved with the ASMR stuff?
Oh, I've always been a fan of ASMR. I was a big fan of it, I think, starting about 16 years old. I suffer from, anxiety. And I found ASMR to be a suggestion from one of my friends. And I just hopped into the community. So I had been a long time enjoyer of it. And I noticed on Twitch that there were live ASMR streams, and I would tune into them, got inspired by other people. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to host my first ASMR stream. It did really well.
Mm.
I found I actually kind of have a knack for it. So I was like, you know what? Why not just make this my whole thing?
Folks, you have to listen to it. We're going to have the links in the description. You're going to have to listen to it to understand exactly what Nasu's talking about. And yeah, it does really you do really fit the format extremely well
Thank you.
when it happens. Now, what type of ASMR do you like to listen to?
Oh, definitely. I'd say like role plays
Mm-hmm.
or character ASMRs. I'm big on the daydreaming kind of thing. So I
Ah,
like, jumping into a little make believe D&D campaign in my head before I go to bed.
that's cool. It's almost like getting a bedtime story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and except it's audio acted out in this sort of format. I see. I usually I worked overnight for many years when I was younger, and
Mhm.
my sleep pattern is absolutely ridiculous, which allows me to do interviews at any time of day, which is good, I guess. But it doesn't allow me to sleep, so I use a lot of different noises and things, and sometimes combine them to go to sleep. And then ASMR is one of the
Mhm.
things that helps me to do that if I get the right thing going. So when you get the one that helps Eric go to sleep, please let me know.
I'll see if I can find something for
I
you.
appreciate it. Where do you get your scripts? Do you come up with them yourself, or do you go to a different site for them?
Most of the scripts I use do come from Reddit. There's a Reddit group that is strictly for submitted ASMR scripts, be it, any type of content. There's something for everybody there. And fortunately, I do actually have a couple of viewers that like submitting their scripts to me as well. So
Hmm,
sometimes I'll use those.
that's cool. Have you written one yourself yet?
I have not, but I've definitely been told I should try. I'm not quite sure if I'm in the writing department.
Well, I mean, it may not be for you, but you've listened to it for a long time and you've recorded them, and maybe you have an idea that someone hasn't done yet, and
Mm-hmm.
and you can give it a shot. It'll be interesting to see what you come up with that. Now,
I might have to try it.
now, when you're on and you're gaming, what types of games do you play?
I prefer games that are pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes rhythm games, or
Mm-hmm.
definitely nothing too scary or too like gory or like pew pew kind of aspects. I'm
Yeah,
I'm not big on the intense games like most people. I like games that make me laugh, games that make me feel comfortable, or games that have cute elements to them.
games that don't make you scream.
Yeah, definitely that one.
But what are you playing right now?
Currently, I'm kind of got a strange obsession with Roblox right now.
Ah,
There's so many options of
well,
different things that you can play. So there's a bunch of, cute things on there or
mm,
comfortable games on there too.
well, that's good. Yeah, well, folks enjoy it because they keep coming back for it. And when did you realize that they were coming back for you and not the game?
I'm honestly gonna have to say when I started showing weakness on stream, and I say that in a manner where my life wasn't going the best. There were some situations happening in my private life, and it was affecting my online life.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a tiny bit of weakness where I was crying and I was apologizing for it affecting, my VTubing. The same people that I thought were just here for, the cute avatar and the
Mm-hmm.
cute voice had made me feel like they could see me
Mm-hmm.
behind the screen, and they were like, Nasu, we love you. We're always going to be here for you. We're not leaving you. Thank you for telling us, and we'll do what we can. And there's been multiple instances where my viewers have been so generous and so kind and have helped me out of a couple sticky situations financially. And that's when I started to realize that these people really are here for me.
That's cool. I mean, for someone who wasn't a theater kid or someone who sang on stage before, how does that make you feel? I mean, that's pretty. That's a pretty intense thought.
It's honestly, I've sometimes even 3 years in, sometimes I feel like it hasn't set in.
Mm.
Sometimes I just feel like, oh, I'm just me, and then something monumental will happen on the channel, and I'm like, whoa, no, like this isn't stuff that happens to me. This is stuff that might happen to a well-known person online or maybe a little micro celebrity or something, but not me. It's very difficult to remember that I am something more to the viewers.
Yeah, and you're something more, period. You're a very talented person, obviously. You've got a lot of different talents. You're
Thank
sharing them
you.
with everybody, and that's always appreciated. One of the things that you just started sharing is singing. So, for someone who didn't sing on stage when you were younger, who drug you out in front of the microphone for that
Oh, that was my friend Show You.
one?
She's stunning voice, wonderful singer. She had messaged me and was like, "You absolutely, we need to do this now." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it." It started with some karaoke streams, just as like a joke for the channel, something fun that I noticed other VTubers were doing.
Right.
And the viewers were like, "Wait, you're actually really good at this." And I was like, "Am I? I did not know that." So I got more comfortable into it until my friend dragged me into a cover, and here we are.
Well, it's an excellent cover. Your voices do blend well. Yours higher, of course, and hers lower. Theirs lower.
Mhm.
We're going to play that right now, and we'll play it, and we'll come back and talk a little bit about the song and the song choice in just a moment. You're hearing it here on Eric Loy Interviews.
かっぽそい日が心の端に灯るいつの間にか漏れ広がる熱情私の情不規則に飛び回りあなたの手にインブルーをつけた絡み合う指ほどいて唇からしたいと許されないことならばなおさら燃え上がるの抱き寄せてほしい確かめてほしい間違いなどないんだと思わせてキスをして塗り替えてほしい琵琶湖の時に愛しで溺れていたいの束縛してもっと必要として愛しいなら執着を見せつけておかしいのがたまらなく好きになるいけるとこまで行けばいいよ迷い込んだ心なら簡単に溶けていく優しさなんて感じる暇などないくらいに繰り返したのはあの夢じゃなくて
That was Magnet. What is that song from?
It is a very old Vocaloid song from I think 2011.
Mm-hmm. 2011.
It's pretty good. It's a song I actually used to listen to in my childhood.
Mm. Yeah, your voices really do go well together. And is it normally a two-part song?
Yes, it is originally a duet.
Mm. Yeah, and it just goes really well. Obviously, you need to do more.
Thank you. I do actually have a couple plans. I've got some magic behind the scenes in the works, so keep an eye out for that. I've got my first solo cover coming out soon.
Ooh, okay. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that because, again, your voice was very, very distinct and very clear on it, and really, I mean, I can't say enough about how it mixed together. It was a perfect song for you two to collaborate on, and I hope to hear more from you.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I really hope that it gets good feedback from everybody.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I'm putting it in the interview, and I want people to listen. Now, folks, check out Nasu's links for all sorts of things. Nasu does so many different things on the ASMR. You've been doing VR chat too. How's that been going?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun, actually. I'm going to be doing some meet and greets soon, and hopefully in time I can get the equipment needed to start doing VR streams, which I'm looking forward to a lot. I've always wanted to do something like this ever since I started VTubing.
Yeah. Is it a little more personal maybe with the VR? I see that.
Absolutely. It's very immersive, and it feels different to, see my VTuber on the screen versus, looking down in VR and seeing her hands or my hands.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an odd question to ask. Is the more technology more personal? But you do kind of get to show a little bit more movement and enthusiasm into what you're saying, I guess.
Absolutely. It feels more intimate because you get to see, the little things that someone does. Do they tap their foot? Do they move their hands when they talk? They get to see things that you normally can't with a 2D model.
Yeah. So, folks, make sure and check that out. It's on the Nasu Aisuru VTuber website. We'll have that connection in the links for the description of this particular interview. So you've already hit a lot of goals. You've gone past where you thought you'd be at this point. What is your next big thing?
Next big thing is honestly just going straight up. I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing right now. I'm hoping that it reaches a wider audience. So I've been posting more on other platforms, going to be hopefully posting more song covers, and just kind of waiting for the moment where the spotlight just hits me right and I start getting more people flooding into my beautiful care center.
Did you apply recently to any of the openings?
I have, actually.
Good. I think everybody should take their shot.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed for everybody.
Yeah. It's I went 35 years and didn't take a lot of shots during that time in radio, and I regret it in the past. Now, I think everybody who gets a chance to ought to take a shot. And you never know what happens. Maybe it doesn't happen this time, but maybe they reach back and find it next time,
Absolutely. We learn something from every experience.
Absolutely. And what have you learned about yourself in the VTubing?
I have learned that, one, I'm funnier than I thought I was. Two, I learned that I am very capable of being a performer that I've always wanted to be.
So you really did want to be up on stage. You just didn't do it.
I really did. I tried once or twice, and I backed out. It was just too much for me. Couldn't handle it. The stage fright, it's something they say that goes away, but for me, it unfortunately never did, which is why I think this is absolutely where I should be. Just safe enough that I don't get the frights, but close enough that I can feel like I'm still performing in the way I've wanted to.
Well, you are, and I had this same thing. I would, back in the best days I was in radio, I would talk to thousands of people on the radio. But you get me in front of 20 people in a room, and I wanted to run away.
I completely understand
I
that.
don't want to see them. I don't want to see their reactions to me. I don't want to perceive what they think is reaction. I don't want to know. I haven't really gotten over that too much, but I've had to. You have to just go out and do it. But I completely understand. And I've had people the other way. I've had people who can stand out and talk to people, but you put a microphone in front of them and they clam up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally different thing, and I think it relates to the old radio DJ guys, because some of us would go on, you'd never see their face, you'd hear them, they have a personality. Sometimes they make up different names for themselves, and would be scared to actually meet with the people they're talking to. So,
I get that completely.
yeah, so there's a little bit of a comparison there. But it seems to me that you have really settled in. You're, let's see what the term would be. You're happy with your own skin right now.
Yeah, it's been a bit, but I can finally say that I am pretty comfortable where I am.
Well, I really hope that it continues for you, because obviously you can hear the smile on your voice.
Thank you.
And anybody who watches knows that you are, with the ASMR and with the streams, very dedicated to what you're doing. You want to do it right, and you want to entertain as many people as possible. The fact that you're able to do it and be successful at it is pretty cool.
Well, thank you. I think you're pretty good at this radio thing.
Oh, well, thanks. I wish that they'd have paid me when I was in radio.
I was about to say, you should try ASMR. Your voice is so calming, it's making me sleepy.
Oh, that's how I got my wife. I talked to her till she went to sleep. When she woke up, she had a ring, so I don't know.
That's one way to get them.
Too late now. No, the problem is I can't keep the same voice for any period of time. I'll lose it, and then I won't ever get it back. I would love to do like the voice acting stuff and do voiceovers. What about you in voice acting? I mean, you're kind of voice acting right now with the ASMR.
Yeah, I have a variety of different, accents and dialects that make people feel a little bit more immersed or a little bit more relaxed than the others.
Yeah.
And I've kept up a pretty good list of them.
Yeah. Would you ever put a tape together? I'm 100 years old. Not tape anymore. Put together some files and sent them out to anybody yet?
We go back to the management thing. I keep bonking myself on the head going, Nasu, make a demo reel. I haven't done it. But I've been fortunate enough that a lot of the voice work that I've had in the past has been people approaching me because they know who I am. But I really should put a demo reel together.
Yeah, I think it would be very successful. I think you're pretty dang successful now, and the only place left to go is further up for you.
Sure hope so.
I do appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
It's great to meet you, and it's great always to talk to somebody who has made the best of their situation and thrives in it. Sounds like you're doing that.
Thank you so much.
When you get some big things coming up, let me know. We'll update everybody on it, okay?
Of course.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.